Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Sunday. I hope the sun is shining wherever it is that you are. And hey, if you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by clicking on the information box down below. You could check out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com. You could check out my witchy shop, Desert Cauldron. You can check out ways to support the channel on Patreon or with my channel memberships. By the way, thank you guys so much. All of that information is down below. So let me know what you guys have cooked up for today, what you guys have going on this week. I just sent my monthly readings out to my patrons, and I was doing a little like fairy guidance spread with them, and I've really been feeling the fairy energy vibes. So I did a little, like I said, fairy guidance spread with them, but I also did like a fairy crystal grid for my crystal tier members. My blog posts have been all about the fae. And so, hey, speaking of the fae, we are outdoors today in the forest. And you guys voted last Thursday, just a few days ago, on what it is that you would like to see during this particular live chat. And everybody had voted on channeling a Ponderosa pine. So actually, that is what I'm sitting under right now. Let me see if you guys can see this bad boy. I don't know if the camera even goes up that high. Woo! There he is. But yes, we will be channeling him in a little bit. But first, we're going to be doing our weekly reading. So if you guys would like to chime in on the reading, I highly encourage you to do that, because I think that, with everybody else giving their, higher selves messages and downloads and card pulls and rune tosses and, all of that, that it just creates a more well-rounded reading. Like, yes, we could tap into my intuition, but let's bring in everybody else's intuition as well, because everybody's going to see things from a different perspective, because all of our intuitions work just a little bit differently. So speaking of weekly reading, I have my Language of Flowers affirmation deck that I thought would be a lot of fun to use during today's live chat. I also have Journey of the Sacred Bee. Maybe I picked it because it's got a giant sunflower on it, and I'm like total sunflower shit. I don't know if you guys sunflower pants too. Like, woo! I'm like super sunflower today. I also the Spirits of Nature Oracle. I thought that would be a lot of fun. Okay, so let me know what decks you guys are working with, or maybe you're just doing some good old-fashioned channeling, which is fabulous too. But yeah, so for those who don't know, let me backtrack a little bit to the poll that I put out on Thursday. I always have like 4 options, and I put that poll out to the public on my YouTube's channel page. I also put it out to my patrons. I put it out to my YouTube members, and it just asked them, you vote on what it is that you would like to see during the Sunday live chat. And so, of course, if you are a YouTube member and or a patron, your votes kind of push it towards what you're wanting to see. And so thank you to my YouTube members and to my patrons, because it did help to push that, final votes about what you guys wanted to see during this live chat. And it was a channeling of a Ponderosa pine. And although I have done channeling of trees before, actually, I do have a YouTube video that I created called Channeling the Trees, channeling the twisty trees. So it was actually junipers that I channeled, but I've never channeled a Ponderosa. So this will be kind of cool. Plus, there's something about this particular tree that I really like. And many people have said during past live chats that they really like this tree too. So we're going to be hanging out with him and seeing what he has to share with us. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to all of my subscribers, everybody who watches my videos, everybody who, gives them likes, shares them, comments, no matter what your point of view is. Thank you so much. And all of the folks who are supporting me on YouTube members. So thank you to Kayla and Nancy and Astrid and Jolene and Duality Tales. Thank you so much. And also, Thank you to my beautiful patrons, Lily and Dana and Jamie and Kayla and Sugna Baby and Brandy and Jason and Brian and Palu and Crystal and Easy Does It, Oz, Joel, 1111, and Casey Gritter. Thank you, you guys so much. And our mighty, mighty moderator, Riley, says, "Good morning, beautiful Arizona." Yes, so we are in the beautiful White Mountains of Arizona. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with that weekly reading. Like I said, we will go ahead and do that. Then we will go into a channeling. Afterwards, we will do super chats and super stickers. So if there's anybody with like a burning question, maybe even a question for the Ponderosa pine, then we can do that afterwards. And then we will do a channeled guided meditation, because I always like to have our live chats finish off with a bit of healing. And I know that everybody's like, the season is in transition right now. It doesn't know if it wants to be warm or rainy or whatnot. But I am looking forward to more rains, because actually, the trees and the plants and the animals really, really need it. It was kind of a dry winter. So, but I am liking this transition, and I know that everybody's like kind of transitioning, as well. I mean, we're a part of nature. We are nature. So, people are transitioning to like, either 8 a.m., 9 a.m., because usually during like fall and winter, I do have my live chats at like 9 a.m., just because it takes longer for the sun to come up, but the sun is coming up sooner, which is why I have pushed it to 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, I want to pull a card, just kind of an overall theme card for the week. And I know we have some stuff going on this week. We have Cinco de Mayo happening tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow is the 5th of May. Today is the 4th of May. So may the 4th be with you, to all of my Star Wars nerds out there. So Cinco de Mayo, erroneously believed to be Mexican Independence Day. It is not. It was a battle, actually the battle at Puebla. And it was against the French forces. And it was a victory for Mexicans to kind of push back the French. And they were outnumbered, outgunned, but the people had come together and they got really crafty. They actually included many of the Padres, in it. Not Padres, the baseball team, but Padres, like fathers, like, leaders of the church. And everybody got together, all the townsfolk, and they were able to push those French back. Although ultimately the French were able to take Mexico City, it was something that, really has stayed with many, Mexicans and Mexican Americans. I myself, am part Mexican. And just to show that, it doesn't matter, how outnumbered things may seem, or how, things may be stacked against you, that it's when people come together and the intention is strong and the belief that victory is strong, that, real magic can be made, real manifestation can be had. And so, that's the real spirit of Cinco de Mayo. It's not Cinco de Drinko, but of course, a lot of people turn it into a drinking holiday. But, have fun anyway tomorrow. We have some other things coming up. Next Sunday is Mother's Day here in the United States. So those of you who are, moms to little babies or fur babies or the forest, or you are an adopted mom, a mom of an adopted child, or, stepmoms, and, moms of all kinds will celebrate you next Sunday. And, actually all year round, but that's the official celebration date. But also, we have a couple of birthdays, and I know you guys have some birthdays coming up. Hey, Lily is here. Hello, Lily. But my now sis Becky has her birthday coming up on the 9th. So Love you. But also my friend Steve, if you're watching, bro, his birthday is coming up on the 9th as well. So they're celebrating on the same date. My godson, my youngest godson, Tyson, he had his birthday yesterday. So if Tony and Tamika are watching, hello, hello. And hello to Tyson. I love you. Um, oh, Dana says, hello, beautiful soul sister. Hello. Good to see you. So, yeah, so many birthdays happening. So let me go know if you guys have some birthdays going on, because I love singing people happy birthday. And I think there's some more birthdays coming up on Saturday. I don't have to track my planner, but yay, those are the ones that I remember off the top of my head. Okay, so let's go back to these cards. I got sidetracked with birthdays and Cinco de Mayo. Let's see what our theme card is for the upcoming week. And we have, for some reason, I thought this was going to be the card, but here we go. Tobacco, reciprocity. And well, for many Native American tribes, I don't want to speak for all Native American tribes, but for many Native American tribes, and and even for my ancestors, the Pima, tobacco is something that is very sacred. It's not just roll it up in a cigarette and we just smoke it all willy nilly, but it was considered a sacred plant. It was used for offerings. It was used during ceremony. It was kind of like this thank you. We work with spirit. Spirit works with us. We work with nature. Nature works with us. We work with these energies. The energies work with us. And so they wanted to be able to give something back in a tangible way, but also in an energetic way, because it's just a tangible representation of the energetic gratitude and thank you for being able to work with these other energies. And so I love that this is the theme card for this upcoming week, this reciprocity. This being mindful of all of the things that are working with us. I know that sometimes we do feel like maybe we are alone, but we're never, ever, ever alone. Hey, Silver Star Priestess is also here. It says, hello, beautiful Tara, Dana, Lily. Hey, Lily says, I was smoking a cigar the other day. I was smoking a cigar the other day. But yeah, I love, I just love that's the sacredness that surrounds tobacco. Although I don't smoke cigarettes, I do like, smoking cigars, and every once in a while I do like to smoke my pipe, and putting a little bit of different types of tobacco in there. And I try to smoke with intention, not just like, yay, I'm just like smoking this right now, but realizing how sacred that plant is, and how much energy went into creating that, how the people came together with the earth, with the water, with the nutrients that was put into it, and everything working together to create this kind of beautiful sacred smoke. And so that's what I try to keep in mind. But, of course, life gets in the way, and sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind. But I believe that that's what's coming through this week, is just a reminder of all the things that do work with us, not just tobacco, but, the plants, the trees, the animals are working with us. Spirit, your ancestors, the ancestors of this world, all the different dimensions, are working with us. Source energy, which we are, works with us. The divine works with us. We are the divine. And it's I think, going to be really good for us to just at least pause, even for a moment, once a day, this upcoming week, if not, moving forward, to just pause and reflect about, who are all the beings helping me on this journey, and remember that all is one. So those beings are all reflections of me. So if I feel that more of my ancestors are working with me at this time than, say, the blue avians, then what energy am I in right now that is bringing in my ancestors rather than, let's say, the blue avians? If I feel that I'm working more with, I don't know, Andromedan energy than I am squirrel energy, then what energy am I in right now that is making that connection with the Andromedan? So keep that in mind. Silver Star says, she was pulling cards too. Woo, woo. Dana says, hi, Heather. I love how we are on the same vibe. Fellow Venus sister. Yes. Star 44 says, hi. Oh, hey, it's our buddy Patrick. Hey, Patrick. Silver Star says, I got 10 of swords, the wheel. So 2 10s and the Knight of Pentacles, clouding out cycles and calling in the new, moving in slowly, work with Mother Earth, grow a small garden, make your corner a piece of Eden. Beautiful. Silver Star says, yeah, the Knight of Pentacles. I was figuring that. Knight of Sense, Knight of Pentacles. The Pentacles got sense. Anyway, but I love that. I love this reciprocity. Actually makes me want to take out my ceremonial pipe. Maybe I'll do that this week as I call in the energies that have been working with me lately, which has been the Fae energy. So then I have to ask myself, what energy am I in if I'm bringing in more of the Fae energy? Because I was talking about that earlier at the beginning of the chat, that with my patrons, I created a crystal grid based on the Fae. I did their monthly readings based on a fairy guidance spread that I had created. The blog post was about the Fae. Like, I'm all about it right now. So, okay. Hey, Shannon is here. Says, "What's up, guys? What's up?" Okay, so let's pull out these cards and let's get some more information about this upcoming week. So like I said, we had the overall theme card, tobacco reciprocity, reminding us to pause and reflect on the energies that we are connecting to at this time, why we might be connecting to those certain energies, and just feeling into all of the beings and all of the energies that are helping us on this journey. Because even though we may not see them physically, with our, involving our five senses, that doesn't mean that they're not there. That's why it is of the utmost importance to connect to our sixth sense, our intuitive sense, because that is the one that, that is where truth lies. That is where all the answers that we've ever sought are right here on the inside. Okay, so let's go ahead and shuffle these up. Wow, the wind is coming in strong. But they've been chemtrailing like crazy, and usually when they chemtrail a lot, the wind comes, and when the wind comes, the clouds form. Interesting how that happens. Everybody's saying hello to all the folks coming on in. Dana says, I love the sunflowers. I loved the fairy reading and have been tuning into that energy the last month. So on par. All right, awesome. I love it. Silver Star said, so funny. I was looking up the difference between the fairy star and Ishtar star, and I have my altar set up in the fairy star. Oh, wow. So cool. Dude, I love that. Riley said, I counted 47 elk this morning crossing right behind where you're sitting. Really? That's pretty cool. Wow, I've actually never seen an elk like close up. I mean, I've seen them from far, like when I'm driving by, and I've seen deer close up, but I've actually even petted a deer. It was a baby deer, well, a young doe, but I've never seen elk close up. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's pull a few cards for this upcoming week. I hope the wind isn't too terrible. I do have my little whatever fuzzy thing on there to help with the wind, but it seems like it's getting very windy. Well, I guess this Ponderosa is going to be dancing when we channel him later. Okay, so for the upcoming week, ooh, we have alchemy with the sun card. I love it. It's the sunflower. We have the Knight of Wands. And we have the Seven of Swords. Interesting. Futility. All right, so let's put these together. We have the Sun, we have the Knight of Wands, and we have the Seven of Swords. Futility. Okay, Actually, this I feel directly connects to the theme card that we pulled earlier, about the reciprocity and just taking a moment to reflect on all the beings that are connecting to us at this time. All the aspects of ourselves, that are working with us on our journey and on our path. And so, if things get a little bit frustrating with the Seven of Swords, I don't feel like it's gonna be too frustrating, but sometimes when things get a little, we get a little sometimes bent out of shape when, traffic gets a little cray cray, or somebody gets a little cray cray in the store. You know how life gets, I mean, we're human beings. And so sometimes we get sucked into kind of this tunnel vision and we don't see the bigger picture. And when we miss the bigger picture, sometimes certain opportunities or lessons kind of pass us by. It's kind of flies under the radar. So it's the things that we don't see. But if in those moments we can remember, even for 5 seconds, 5, 10 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, so on and so forth, just like breathe and ground. And what am I feeling right now? If it's I'm really angry right now. Okay, why do where am I feeling the anger? First of all, maybe I'm feeling it in my heart. Okay, I feel anger in my heart. What energies are helping me in this heart space right now, where I feel this anger? And, we might catch the scent of a perfume that our grandmother used to wear, or we might smell the cigar that our grandfather used to smoke, or, and we start to feel these energies. And in that moment, all of a sudden, we see the bigger picture because we feel it, in our bones, whether we're hearing it, auditorily, those of us that have clairaudience, maybe it's just a knowing that we have, it's a feeling that we have in our body. But in that moment, we're kind of taken out of this tunnel vision and back into the present moment. And then we realize that, this thing that's going on, yeah, it's an irritation, but it's just a minor irritation in the grand scheme of things. It's like getting like a little like mosquito bite, and, one little mosquito bite isn't going to like ruin our whole entire day. So just kind of keeping that in mind for this week. Remember to breathe, remember to ground, remember to come back to center. Where are we feeling that emotion in our body? Maybe we don't have time in that moment to like do a full-on meditation and go inwards, why we're feeling that way, and why we're feeling it in this particular part of our body. But we'll make note of it for later when we do have time for that. But it's just the going inwards, pausing, grounding. Who surrounds me right now? Okay, I kind of feel it could be, Pleiadians surrounding me right now, or right now I feel the fair surrounding me, or, the brownies, things like that. So just kind of keep that in mind for this week. But I love that. Let's see. Silver Star says, Oracle card that came out from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle deck. Love that deck, by the way. Is considered the food you eat, the environments you spend time, the people in your life, increase the awareness and how things come to be. Yes. Yes, definitely. That's, like I said, the reminder of like, if we're connecting to a particular energy at this time, why am I connecting to that particular energy? And that goes, the same for the physical things that we have in our reality, the physical people, the physical food that we are ingesting, all of that. So wonderful. Superstar says, things that came to be in the world, there's an energetic resonance. Work with the land to heal with the earth. Beautiful. I'm so loving that. Nice. Okay. So keeping all of those beautiful messages in mind, see, this is why I love everybody, chiming in with their intuition and their input, because it creates just such a well-rounded reading. Okay. I do want to pull one little affirmation card for us. I think that'll be fun skis. Do 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 do. Mana. Okay, I was just looking at something. Doo, doo, doo. Ooh, we have the kala lily. I had a friend who was so in love with kala lilies. It says rejuvenation, reawaken, and then stand stronger. Well, one way that we can stand stronger and rejuvenate is that we do have to see things from a different perspective. So Absolutely loving that. Whoa, wind's getting a little strong there. Okay, hopefully it doesn't get any stronger. I don't want to knock things off my little table here. Oh, by the way, I do have some seeds that we can give out to the birdies in a bit, but they've been kind of flying around and singing. So hopefully you guys have been able to see that. All righty. So let's see. Silverstar says, as I was typing, you were confirming the message. Nice. See, I love this. We are all in simpatico right now. Dana says the weather looks gorgeous. Oh, it is. It's nice outside. Hey, I can't complain. I'm real happy. You know me, I'm solar powered, you know. Dana says, I would have laughed if Carnation came out. Girl, when that like came out double time in the read, I was like, are you serious? Hey everybody, John is here. Hey. Okay, so if and other people would like to contribute to the weekly reading, you know, I don't want to discourage you. Keep putting your messages down in the chat, because there are people who do watch the replay. And by the way, if you're one of those people who are in the future right now watching the replay, make sure that you read the chat section. There's a lot of beautiful messages that are happening in there. A lot of wonderful people. That's why I love hanging out here on Sundays, is because you guys have such an amazing healing energy, and just all the things that we share, you know, whether we say it's, you know, heavy things that we're sharing or lighter things that we're sharing. The fact that everybody's heart space is just open to receiving, to listening, to sharing. I think that it creates such a beautiful space. And so that's why I like hanging out with you guys. It's so wonderful. But there are a lot of, like I said, beautiful messages there, and a lot of, you know, awesome side conversation, people helping each other out. So definitely check that out. Everybody welcoming in some more of our friends. Okay, so let's get to that channeling of this Ponderosa. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move my camera just a touch, and I'm going to flip my little thingy around. Give me just a moment. You guys are gonna get flipped here. I think I want to see if I can. I cannot turn my camera around, so we're going to go this way. Okay, I will have to keep the camera like this though. All right. So squeeze me while I figure this. Aha! There we go. And there's me. Okay. So there's this beautiful Ponderosa. Okay, I'm going to keep it like that. And I'm going to channel this Ponderosa. So I'm going to go back and sit in my chair just a little bit so I can get nice and cozy. And we're just going to see what he has to share with us. And in this area, we do have a lot of Ponderosa, but you know, there's some pinions around. We have the junipers. There's a lot of different types of trees in this area, but I really was feeling called to have Ponderosa speak. So let me get into a little comfortable space while I connect to this energy. Remember that all is eternal. We stand tall, whether we are in physicality or not. We understand that all is but an experience, and that is why we have chosen to incarnate here at this time. Of course, when you think of time, you think of something quite linear, but we see it as mixed like a ball of yarn. Where shall I say that my time begins and my time ends? Of course, you have your way of calculating this, but I have no such device to calculate. I just know that I always was, and I always will be. Even before I came into the form that you see now, I was alive. Even long after, I no longer stand tall. What you might see is decay upon the ground. I am still alive. I continue to become just as you do. You might mark your time at the moment of your birth and the time of your supposed death, but you were alive before, and you will be alive after. So why wouldn't we stand tall? In the beauty and in all the incarnations of the forms that we have taken. Think of this now, in your individual lives, apart from the collective. Times when you feel that you cannot stand tall. But remember that you have done this many, many times. You were alive before, and you will continue to be alive. There is no conflict, no blockage that is too great for you. It is all experience. Perhaps things will not be resolved in the timeliness in which you would like, but in the grand scheme of things, all is in right time. Perhaps you would like to overcome a pain in your body. You would like it to be over with now. But that experience has been called in for a reason. What is the reason? Understand the reason. Understand the teachings of that pain. And you will have honored the experience. And you are ready for a new experience. Not all experiences need to be in pain. This is why you have the emotions that you do. A beautiful array of emotions, of feelings, so that you could decode and understand these experiences. When a fellow tree has its limb cut, it does not focus on what is now missing, but it tries to understand what that missing limb is trying to teach it, what it feels now, and where it feels it within its body, perhaps not just at the site of the missing limb. But we brought that experience in for a reason. What is that reason? We cherish all experiences, from the animals that climb our trunk, that burrow within us, that dance upon our branches and steal our nettles for their nesting. We feel honored to be connected to the world around us in this way. We feel honored to be a home for the insects, or a bridge if need be. We feel honored to be able to experience the wind, experience the sun, to experience drought, to experience flooding. Even when we have been cut down and used for kindling, for firewood, even in this, we honor the experience. What it is like to become a different element completely. Fire, smoke, to become one with the air and fall back into the earth without root. What a beautiful experience. For you, this must sound devastating. But if you look at everything as a new opportunity to view yourself from a different angle, then nothing is ever insurmountable. Nothing is ever awful. It is merely a way to see yourself differently. That you can morph and change. And all of it is beautiful, whether or not you agree. So we ask you to continue to stand tall, because everything that comes your way, you have called in, and if you have called it in, then you also have the power to understand it. And the power in understanding fills one with a sense of purpose and joy and strength. Keep this in mind with all of the trials and tribulations that surround you at this time. And also keep it in mind with all of the new beginnings and the joy and the elation that you feel at this time. Allow the wind to blow through your hair. Allow the soil to touch your skin. Allow yourself to get burned once in a while, to understand the bigger picture. This is what we have to share. All right. Whew. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to channel you. All right, you guys. Let me bring this bag. Woo! We got a little topsy-turvy there. Woo! What a wow, what an amazing energy. Wow. So old and like, I don't know, comforting. Like, it felt old, strong, but like comforting. I don't know. Wow. 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 Let me know what you guys thought. I actually do remember what it said. I was like, okay, what did the Ponderosa say? Yeah, I do remember, but let me know what you guys thought. Let's see. John says, they're beautiful. I do miss standing among these giant pines. They are gorgeous. Oh, a little cloud is blocking the sun. No, go away, cloud. Time Harvest is, wondering if I'm doing super chats. Actually, that is next. We're going to be doing super chats and super stickers, and then a channel guided meditation. Um, let's see. Silver Star says, I'm sure she will. We're channeling the pine tree at the moment. Time Harvester says, okay, perfectly on time. Star 44 said, beautiful. Thank you. Silver Star says, just give it a moment. Everybody was loving the channeling. Excellent. Silver Star says, centered is what I felt, and it's about your perspective. You get to choose. Definitely. Yeah, it was, instead of, wishing that, everything just be hunky-dory, and when things aren't hunky-dory, that must mean that's bad. We shouldn't have, these bad things that happen in our lives. And although we might not enjoy them, maybe they're uncomfortable and we'd rather not. But instead, having a different perspective is like, okay, well, nothing I can do about it right now, so let's take stock of the situation, whether we see it as good or bad. And, if, let's say, I've brought the situation into my life, what would I be trying to teach myself at this time? What am I actually trying to learn? And it's an opportunity to experience different emotions and different, feelings in our body. It's a way for us to see ourselves differently. Because imagine if everything was just, unicorns and rainbows, we wouldn't be able to challenge ourselves in different ways. We wouldn't be able to see ourselves in different ways. How else do we know about all the beautiful ways that our intuition works if our intuition isn't challenged? Or, let's say our physical body. How would we know that we're good at this or that if we don't try something that we've never tried before? Put ourselves into something new, basically fully embracing that fool card is what I feel that Ponderosa was trying to say. And remembering that this is just a vessel that we are inhabiting. And yes, we honor this vessel at this time, but remember that we've been in all these different vessels and have been in all these different experiences. And so nothing is really ever the quote unquote end of the world. It's just one experience after another. And then we label it good or bad, but that's just based on our belief structure and, our background. So, whew. Wonderful. I'm so glad it connected with us today. That was amazing. Thank you, Ponderosa. Dana said that was beautiful. Oh my goodness. So, all right, you guys, now that I'm like, I feel like I'm back. I do want to use this deck, the messages from the Spirits of Nature Oracle. Let's use this for the super chats and super stickers. So, hey, if anybody would like to do super chats and super stickers, now is the time. um, we could it could do like a little card pull channeling. You could ask a question of Ponderosa back here. You can ask a question of nature. If you have a personal question, you can ask that. I do want to say that if you have a question that is like extremely personal and you don't want like the whole interwebs to hear your question, then I do have readings on my website, kittenswaitsandtarot.com. I have one card readings just like we do here, on YouTube. But I also have bigger type readings. So, sometimes people need like a 30-minute reading, or maybe they need like an hour-long reading. So I'd be more than happy to do that, but just check out the website. But I do like the readings that we do here on YouTube, because I feel that we're all on this journey together. And sometimes your question is something very similar to a question somebody else has. And sometimes the messages that we need to hear is not specifically just for that person, but it's for a lot of us. So that's why I like, being able to share these super chats and super stickers. So, John, yay! Thank you. John, let me know what question you have in mind. If you kind of just want to leave it up to, your higher self or the Ponderosa to bring you a message, definitely let me know. Okie dokie. Woo. When there's no sun, it's Chile. And wouldn't you know it, there's a chemtrail going right through the sun. Fancy that. Oh, Here she comes. Come back, El Sol. um, okay, so John said, how about a message from the horned one for the organ beginning uh, be, for the organ beginning of summer? Oh, the pagan. I was like, organ. The pagan. Okay, so how about a message from the horned one for the pagan beginning of summer? So, yes, the horned one, sometimes people refer to him as Jack in the Green. Sometimes people refer to him as the Green Man, but he is seen as the divine masculine. Which is why in many native cultures, the horns, the shed antlers of deer and other animals, was so revered. It was an honoring of the sacred masculine. Okay, so let's see what message he has at the beginning of summer. Okay, so first I just want to tap in. Usually I hear like some songs and stuff like that, so I'm always keeping my ear open. Let's see. Okay, I started hearing a Diary of a Madman. Diary of a Madman has begun another day. Endless situations. Dear diary, I'm here to stay. I'm loving it over you, and I will always love you. Okay, so that's playing in my head right now. Okay, let's see how that connects to beginning of summer. Interesting. Ooh, we have sage purification. Okay, how does that connect to love song? Interesting. Okay, let me tap in. Okay. So some people, like I said, call him the horned one. I call him the green man. Everybody has a different name for the divine masculine aspect, as we go into summer. Um, but he's saying that the most important part of that song is, basically, no matter what happens, I will always love you. And he's saying that love is not always the, I guess, Valentine's version of love. It's not always like fuzzy and chocolates and things like that. But it says love in all of its entirety. It's everything. Love is what we are. Love is creation. But it says love also challenges us. Because it says it wouldn't be love without challenging us. And it says that there will be challenges as we get closer to summer. And some of those challenges might seem great, but it says, please keep in mind, but many of those bigger things that we're going to be facing, many of us individually and some of us as a collective, is there because of love, because love doesn't want us to be stagnant. Love wants us to be able to see ourselves, just like what we were talking about, that altered perspective, that different perspective. Actually, what Ponderosa was literally just telling us. But sometimes we might feel that, keeping someone in a bubble, never having them face any challenges, fighting all their battles for them, almost like coddling them, making sure that everything is always nice. They don't ever feel any sort of, anything that's a form of love. And love is like that. That's actually the absence of love. There might be the intention that we love that person so much that we don't want to see, anything bad, quote unquote, happen to them. But it says to deny them their experiences that they are trying to pull in with their soul, with their energy, is almost an absence of love. It says love is allowing people to experience what they need to experience, but being there for them side by side. And it says that's what love is. And the horned one is wanting us to know that, as we go into summer, that all these things that are happening, what we might feel like to us, are actually happening for us out of love, because love wants to see us grow, but it's also there by our side, because we are love, so I'm kind of like what I'm saying, personalizing it, like giving it human form. Anthropomorphism. Well, anyway, the English word is there and I have forgotten it. But that basically, whenever we need to tap into that understanding of why am I going through this, and if love had created this for me, why has it created this for me? So, for you, John, it's saying that you may face, as we get closer to summertime, some bigger challenges in your life. And some of them might feel like spiritual challenges. Some of them might feel like physical challenges, or just like, little hiccups in day-to-day life. But know that love is creating those things. And love is also by your side to help you through those things. It's helping you to grow. So all of those things are meant for your growth, or meant for you to be able to see yourself differently, and to be able to gain confidence and strength through what might be seen as some difficult times. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't feel it's just like Ponderosa said, there's nothing that's going to be insurmountable. It's all things that you have brought in, to challenge yourself, because you asked to see yourself differently. You asked to view or witness your intuition differently, to feel it differently. You asked to grow spiritually. You asked to grow as a human being, a human/spirit, in this vessel. And so in order to do that, some different experiences, things that you haven't really witnessed before, are going to have to occur in order for those, for that perspective to become shifted. So I hope that makes sense. John said, I always get what I needed. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. Alrighty, so thank you for allowing me to read for you. Time Harvest also has a question, so I will tap into that in just a moment. Angela Prayer Poems is here. Hey, Angela. She says, blessings and hello, everyone. So much love today. So, gals, I finally caught you all. How are you today? Amen. Amen to you, sister. And she says, OMG, Silverstar, hello. How are you? Hope your day is going well. I manifest cake for you. All right. So Time Harvest says, I developed a great connection with my cat's neighbor. It went missing a few months ago after a storm. Do you think you could find out what happened to it? Its name was Frida, and it was a gray and white color. Okay, so this is a connection to your neighbor's cat. And so after a storm, the cat went missing. So you're kind of wondering what happened to Frida. Okay, so let's do a little tap in. Hold on, just holding my monitor there. Okay, from what I can see, I see that Frida is okay. Like, I don't see Frida is hurt or deceased. But it was the feeling and the energy of that storm that scared her. And so in trying to find shelter, her scent like markings that she usually uses to find her way back, she hasn't found her way back, but she is fine. Like I said, I don't feel like she's hurt in any way. I kept seeing like leaves that become damp a lot, not just from the storm, but damp leaves, because the cat keeps sitting near the damp leaves along, this might be either the back of a house or the back of a building. I don't know. I'm just kind of seeing it from the cat's perspective. So everything is kind of low to the ground. So I can't really like look up and and see. There's a there are people nearby. There's an older gentleman, and he feeds cats in the neighborhood. Like he leaves out like a bowl of food and water for stray cats. I think he has a couple of house cats, but he likes to feed the cats in the neighborhood. So wherever Frida is, she has food and water. Um, but she is staying out where they're like big leaves, almost mm, um, like oak leaves, but they're damp. Maybe it's behind his home. Um, she once in a while, I mean, like during the day, tries to find the scent home, but it's kind of been washed away. But she feels safe where she is at the moment. And the old man seems kind. Um, I think he's a homebody, but he leaves out a bowl of food and water. That's what I keep seeing, is that at a certain time each day, the food comes out, and she is a little too scared to um, like fully approach this man. But she watches from behind a tree. Um, so she's okay. I don't feel that she's too far from home. Like, I mean, um, let's see, what would the perimeter be like? It's within a couple mile radius. No, she didn't go that far, but it's within 1 or 2 miles of her home, her home. But like I said, she's got food. She's got food and water. She's okay. Um, but let me pull a card. Um, ooh, volcano release. So speaking of experiences and bringing experiences into our lives, although maybe at a conscious level, Frida doesn't quite know why it's so difficult to get back home, and like it's like um, I'd rather not have this uncomfortable situation. But also, she's not scared at the moment. She feels like all her needs are being met. Um, but at the same time, she was asking for a bit more of independence, wanting to see kind of outside her box, so to speak, outside her little world, um, to encounter different smells, different animals, different cats, different humans. And so she is getting all of that experience. It's up to her how long she would like to have that experience before either coming home or not. It's totally up to the cat. But like I said, I don't feel that she's not hurt. She's not in pain. She's not starving. She does have a form of shelter where she is, and I do feel that there is a caring older gentleman where she's at, who likes to care for the stray cats in the neighborhood. So I hope that makes sense. Let me see what some people had said. John says you can put a litter box outside. The cat should be able to smell it for closer to a mile. Yeah, so like I said, the cat's about 1 or 2 miles away. So yeah, that is a good idea. Leave her litter outside and see, or at least have your neighbor leave her litter outside and see if that helps. But yeah, for the moment, I don't feel like she's in any sort of danger. Oh, Silver Star was wishing everybody, may the 4th be with you all, and also with you. Angela said, Ponderosa's message about love really resonated. I just did a working to help feel universal and bring in more love because I feel like the world is missing some these days. OMG, prayers for the sweet fur baby. May she get home soon and be kept safe forever in the light of the sun and the moon. Amen. Yes. Mike says, my cat Bella sends her love. Aw, thank you, Bella. Time Harvest says, she is in a 1 mile radius. I will try to find her then. She went missing 5 months ago, roughly. She wasn't enjoying her house anymore because her owners adopted an annoying dog. She was quite old, though. It's interesting that you say that she's quite old because in the energy I was feeling, she felt quite young. Like this like adventure time and kind of time to get away. Was feeling like not old and run down, but more like youthful and rejuvenated. And so that's interesting that you say that. Angela says, saying a prayer to Mama Gaia to help keep the kitty safe and guide her home safely when Kitty is ready to go back. Yeah, like I said, it's totally up to her. And especially if it sounds like she'd been wanting to get away because you said there's an annoying dog there, then maybe she subconsciously called in this adventure to actually get away and, meet some new people, meet some new animals, have some new experiences, and perhaps a bit of her, although her physical age may be old, she may have been feeling like old and run down because maybe the situation she was in was kind of running her down. But now her being out and about, she's getting some of that pep back in her step, so that's awesome. Star says, they show me a house on a corner of a street where the cat is having food. Yeah, I don't feel like there's a lot of traffic, like not a whole lot of cars whizzing by, but like a quiet street. But I do feel that too. Interesting. Thank you, everybody who's helping in with the fur babies. I'm sure he appreciates it. I appreciate it. And Frida appreciates it. All right, you guys. Let's see. Angela says, also, may the 4th be with you, Silver Star. It's 2 days till revenge of the 6th. Exactly. Star 44, Patrick says, yep, I see that too. Still over there. Yeah, I'm truly getting that. Definitely. All right. Well, if there aren't any more super chats or super stickers, I'm going to let Ponderosa here guide you guys in a meditation because, he's got some great wisdom to share. He might as well lead the meditation, Who could do it better than Ponderosa, All right, so let's actually tilt the camera once again. Ooh, not in that way. And let's do a guided meditation. So let's get back up into that tree. Ooh, just as the sun comes out. How apropos. Excuse me. Time Harvest says, you guys are amazing. Thanks for all the support. I wish I was like a cat more and get in an adventure, but for that, it requires money. Animals are lucky. Hey, you could always go on a forest walk, go on an adventure there. Angela says, ooh, Star Wars themed shadow work would be a fun live chat. Ooh, Angela, that is a great idea. I would like to do that seriously for a future live chat. That would be great. Patrick says there's also a traffic sign on the street corner to no parking, it looks like. Yeah, I do feel, I don't know if there's a school nearby, I don't know, it could be an elementary school, but I do see the signs for slow down and some other signs. Interesting. Okay. Silverstar says, Time Harvest. So are you sending you hugs and prayers for the sweet kitty? Aww. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this channeled guided meditation. Go ahead and get yourselves into a nice, comfortable space. A place where you will not be disturbed for the next several minutes. You could be lying underneath your favorite pine tree. You could be sitting in the soil, on the grass, perhaps on a pillow, on your bed, in a chair, any place that's comfortable for you. And as you get yourself nice and situated, go ahead and bring your awareness to your breath. Just feeling that rise and fall of your chest. Just feeling where your breath is in your body right now. Is it shallow? Is it deep? Is it quick? Is it slow? No judgment, just noticing the breath. And as you notice this breath, try to make your exhales longer than your inhales. For example, breathing in for a count of 4 or 5, and then exhaling for a count of 7 or 8, nice and slow. And as you bring in that breath, send it to the parts of your body that you feel need it most, that purification, that light. And as you slowly exhale, releasing any tension, any blockages, any pain that you feel in your body. Sending it out on the wind and allow the wind to carry it to where it can be transmuted for the best and highest good for the collective consciousness. Continuing to breathe in and slowly exhaling. And as you do with every exhale, feeling the brow begin to unfurl, feeling the jaw muscles begin to unclench, feeling the face begin to relax, feeling our neck becoming limp, soft, our shoulders falling away from our ears, and feeling that release down our forearms all the way to our fingertips. And we feel it down our spine and our torso, feeling a relax in our hips, our thighs becoming soft, the tenseness in our calf muscles, which hold us up all day long, slowly begin to relax, feeling at peace, feeling a softness within them, feeling your ankles become limp, and feeling that relaxation and peace all the way down to your toes. And from here, we continue to send that peace down the energetic roots that sprout from our feet, from our backside, from our legs, much like the mighty trees that are rooted into this plane of existence. Allow your roots to move down into Mama Gaia, sending her that peace and relaxation with each of your exhales. And as we become still and softened and feeling at total peace, we now imagine a mighty Ponderosa standing before us, tall and strong, beautiful branches and green needles, wonderful life-giving pine cones, food for the forest. And we are walking towards this Ponderosa. And as we do, we notice that we effortlessly meld with the tree itself. Our skin, its bark, our feet, our legs, its roots, its branches, our arms, its needles, our eyes. And as we stand feeling strong, tall, we feel everything with a sense of childlike wonder, welcoming the wind, welcoming the birds, the animals, the burrowing insects and woodpeckers, feeling our roots deep in the earth, connecting to a beautiful, intricate system of all life on this planet. Those roots, both physical and non-physical. In these roots, you speak the language of all. There are no barriers. These roots connect to the energy of squirrel, of juniper, of the soil, of the volcanic rock, of the ants. And all is understood. All purposes, all missions, all connected as one. And you feeling a love like you've never felt before. How needed you are in this beautiful web of roots connecting all life. Your wisdom is needed. Your power is needed. Your strength, your experiences, your point of view, your emotions, your memories, and the memories of you've yet to create are all needed. And long after this meditation has come to an end, you will remember that your roots run deep. Any answer that you need only to connect to your roots. And through your roots, the answer will come to you. All the help you need connected in that root system. Looks like something that has been crocheted. Every strand of yarn needed to create something much bigger, something beautiful. You are a part of that beauty. Without you, the root system is incomplete. If there's something you're wishing to know at this time, go ahead and ask. Place your question down into your roots and allow who is ever best equipped to answer you. But when you are ready, I want you to come back to your body, to your flesh and bone, your limbs, your fingers, your two eyes, two ears, your mouth, your nose, your human form. And thank Ponderosa for showing you a new perspective of yourself. And understand that you can come back in this form anytime you wish. Sending your questions down into your roots and receiving those answers. But go ahead and bring your awareness back into your body. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes. And you can have yourself a little stretch. All right, you guys. Whew. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Ponderosa. Ta ta ta. And a beautifully windy day. Time Harvest was asking Patrick if he was able to channel Frida as well. And he said, yes, it is true. There's an elementary school 1 meter next to my house. Wondering what else people see. Angela says, I feel like there might be flowers, possibly pink ones, near where Kitty is for some reason. John says, since the time came into the chat, I've been seeing the 5-inch graywood beetle that came out a felled pine when I was a child. Beautiful. Says, just hanging out in front of me, in front of your consciousness. That's beautiful. I love it. Angela says, aw, cute. I love beetles. Trees are amazing. I keep thinking of the trees near my home. They help me with my magic. I feel like all trees know each other, at least a little. Of course, of course, of course. Even if they're not on a super friendly basis, I mean, they all know each other. They all speak together. Patrick says, yeah, what an amazing journey. Love it. Silver Star says, that was a wonderful message. Thank you, beautiful tree. Angela says, hugs Tara in the chat and the beautiful tree. And Riley was saying that there are lovely horsies behind us. You know how much I love horses, guys. And trees and horses, of course. Horses, of course. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me today, hanging out with Ponderosa, hanging out with the horses and all the animals and beautiful wind. I can't wait to see you guys next Sunday. I'm working on a fun video coming out tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for that. It'll be coming out at 8 a.m. And hey, if you are going to be celebrating Cinco de Mayo, then I hope you have fun, you and your family. John says, love to you all. Love you guys. Catch y'all later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye, guys.